We're here at North Cross Intermediate. As we get to the end of the year, I'm just really proud of the progress that we've been making in education. It's one of the reasons I came into politics. I'm a kid who had a great state education. Parents left school at 15, 16, and it really got me from a set of circumstances to a different set of circumstances. And it's been really awesome to work with Erica on the work that we've been doing on education. Obviously, we've had a great set of results as we get to the end of the school year. The Aero report on mobile phone ban was outstanding. The results that we're seeing on structured literacy, particularly for 20 weeks in for new entrants, has been really brilliant. And again, the math acceleration program, in particular to the intermediate school students, to get them up to speed so they're actually better set up for a performance in high school is really, really special. There's nothing more important than upgrading our education system here in New Zealand. We want to build out a world-class education system so our kids have the opportunities and can access higher paying jobs in the future. But with that, I'll pass off to Erica to pass some remarks.
Thank you. Thank you, Prime Minister. And thank you everyone for being here. Can I just acknowledge the head students and the students here at North Cross Intermediate.
It was a great welcome.
It was amazing, thank you. And Jonathan Tredre, Principal here at North Cross Intermediate, for hosting us today. I'm here today with the Minister of Education from Estonia, who is here to see some of the reforms that are taking place in New Zealand. And I'm incredibly proud to take her around some of our best performing schools to see our reforms in action. And I'm really pleased that she's here today because we are here today to announce some groundbreaking results. We've already seen in the last little while our early reading and literacy results come through where our very youngest learners are excelling in reading and phonics. And today we have the very first early indicators of our maths ability. We knew that there were year 7 and 8 students who were falling behind in mathematics. And we knew after decades of decline we couldn't stand aside and do nothing. We ran a trial this year of 3,000 students. We had a group of students who were working with a teacher who was providing explicit direct instruction 4 times a week, 30 minutes a session on top of maths. We had a group that was hybrid, that and a little bit online, an online group, and our control group was just in-class teaching under our new reforms this year. Knowledge-rich curriculum, an hour a day, the new maths resources and teachers who'd been trained in structured mathematics. And the results of the trial have been groundbreaking, more than we could ever have expected. The children who received that 4 times a week tutoring with a teacher made 2 years' worth of gain in 12 weeks. It is truly outstanding. And it is something we are now going to be rolling out next year to 15,000 students who are more than a year behind the curriculum to make sure they get their best shot at being at curriculum and being able to go to high school and be confident mathematicians, which is what all parents want. Now that was all very exciting, but actually the most exciting thing was the control group, with the students who were just learning in class with direct, explicit instruction, with our new curriculum, with the 1 million maths books that we delivered to every primary school and intermediate in the country, who had teachers who'd been trained in structured mathematics and who were doing an hour a day. Our education action plan in action. Those children in 12 weeks who were a year behind the curriculum made a year's worth of gain in 12 weeks with nothing other than in-class instruction. And that is telling us that our reforms in education are working. And my message to parents is that we have a very clear direction to raise achievement, close the equity gap, and make sure that your children have the very best ability to go on to live the life that they want. And I'm extraordinarily proud of all of the teachers across this country who have picked up these reforms and run with them, who have been trained, who are using the resources, who are using the new curriculum, who are doing the hour a day. We've already heard from Aero that all of those things are being implemented across the country with fidelity, and we are starting to see those early results. And I know that we will see more results like this, but after just 1 year in office, we have not seen results like this across the country in reading and mathematics for a long time, and the future is very bright. Thank you very much.
Great. Well, we can take questions on the announcement, then we can do other questions of the day.
Well, Minister Stanford, what do you make of principals in the regional centres? They have penned an open letter against these reforms. Are you losing the support of principals?
No, I'm not losing the support of principals at all. In fact, when I go around schools and classrooms, the curriculum, as Aero have already said, is being implemented with fidelity across the country in English and mathematics. We would not be seeing these results if it wasn't. They're doing an amazing job with implementing the curriculum, the hour a day, using the new workbooks, and my message to those teachers is thank you, because what you are doing is changing thousands of lives, working extraordinarily hard to implement these reforms, and today's results show that it is making a massive difference.
But the principals that have penned that open letter, are their concerns unfounded?
Look, I think that all change is hard, right? Change is really hard, and there are always principals who feel that there's a lot coming at them, and we are there to support them. We're there to make sure we've got resources, really good implementation, that we're feeding back results early, we're putting intervention teachers in to help those students who are falling behind. We're doing everything we can. But again, I would go back to these results. This is why we implemented 2 new curricula in 1 year. And we know from ERO it's been implemented extraordinarily well, and now we know that it is working.
Are you extending the 12-week acceleration trial?
Sorry?
Are you extending the 12-week acceleration
Yes.
trial?
So in this year's budget, we allocated $40 million to take this program and implement it next year across New Zealand. We've already gone out for expressions of interest. Every school that wanted to be part of next year's program, which is the tutoring program, has been accepted, and 15,000 children next year who are a long way behind the curriculum will be part of this program.
Prime Minister, do we need regional councils?
Look, if we move on from the announcement then, yes, the bottom line is we're going to radically simplify regional government and local government. Very clearly, we think one of the biggest things holding this country back is actually the RMA. That's created a whole bunch of red tape, green tape. We're going to be radically simplifying that. As you know, we're going to have 2 bills in the House before Christmas. And as part of that, the logical conclusion is we've got to look at how we can radically simplify local government as well. We're imagining a system where we're actually up to 46% of consents are not needed, and actually is much more permissive, and we can crack on and get your things done and built. And the consequences, yes, we will be looking at local government.
Could some of the work by regional councils be done by others?
Look, we'll talk about it very shortly, but we are determined to say, look, we are going to get things done in this country. It has been absolutely hopeless how much we have bound this show up in bureaucracy and red tape. That has to stop. No other government in recent times taken on the RMA reform like we are. It's going to be a major reform of this government, and we're going to simplify it. As a consequence of that, it's quite legitimate that we actually think about how we also simplify local government and the layers of government we have as well.
There still is a place for regional councils.
Again, we're not going to announce that until we're ready to talk about it. We'll talk about it in the next few weeks.
How many jobs would be on the chopping block if you abolished regional councils?
Well, again, I'm not going to go into that right now. I'm just saying to you and signalling to you that it hasn't been a surprise. We've been very focused on making sure that we can actually simplify the layers of government in this country to reduce the levels of bureaucracy so that we can get things done and built in a much faster way.
How would you ensure adequate environmental protections?
Well, as you know, the RMA will have 2 components to it, some minimum environmental standards, some minimum urban development standards. There'll be 2 bills. They'll come into the House before Christmas. There'll be a select committee process, an opportunity for people to engage on what is being proposed. But just when you step back and say, how do we make this country fundamentally wealthier? As I said on the weekend, there's several things that we're trying to do. We're trying to build out a world-class education system so our kids actually can access high-paying jobs that are out there in the world that we know we want to attract to New Zealand so they have awesome futures. We're also trying to make sure this is an easier place to get things done. We know how much damage has been done with the red tape and the bureaucracy that we've created over many, many decades. And so we actually have to have the courage to simplify the system so that we can actually not get locked in loops where we're in endless discussions, endless meetings, but not getting things done.
Doesn't it risk end up putting more power into the hands of Wellington and less into the hands of...
Again, until you see the proposal, which we will announce shortly, I'm just foreshadowing that when you've got RMA reform...
You weren't going to do, though.
Sorry?
It's precisely what you said you didn't want
Well,
to.
it's not what I'm saying. I haven't announced the policy yet, Tova, so until you see it, it's a bit difficult to talk about it in detail. But suffice to say that when we're going to have RMA reform in the scale that we're imagining and what we're going to deliver, which will be pretty profound. As I said, when you think about a system that will have 46% fewer consents, then there's a legitimate question to ask about what's the role of local, regional and central government and all of that. And we want to look at that.
Have you been briefed on the deaths, over the deaths on Mount Cook overnight?
No, I haven't, not at this point.
State abuse survivors are asking for more time to make submissions on the Regis bill. Is that something you can give them?
I'll let Erica talk to that.
Look, it's not something that I've heard. I'll get briefed by my officials and I'll have a look at the timeline and see if that's possible, but it's not something that I've heard yet. So let me take that away, have a chat to my officials and see what the timeline is.
Because the submissions window fell on National Day of Remembrance. Was that fair?
Oh, look, that's just up to the Select Committee. So, in fact, I didn't even know that it opened on that day. That's a decision for the Select Committee Chair to make. But it's certainly something, look, if we can, I'll consider, but I just need to get some advice from my officials about timelines.
And just while you're there with the education hat back on,
Yeah.
there is seemingly no tally or central register being kept of which schools find asbestos and sand in their schools. Is that good enough?
My expectation is that that's exactly what the Ministry are doing. They have been out in the regions with all of their regional managers, contacting every single school, and I've been getting daily updates on which schools have it, which ones are open, which ones are closed, which ones need cleaning. So we have all of that data, and it's my expectation that the Ministry are holding it and tracking it.
We've asked the Ministry for how many schools have shown positive results, and it says it's not keeping that.
Well, I've got that information, so I'll be happy to give it to you.
Minister Stanford, has anyone in the caucus or in Wellington approached you about potential leadership ambitions in the National Party?
All I'm concentrated on, Tova, is doing my job and raising achievement for kids.
The question was, has anyone approached you about potentially becoming a leader of the National Party or deputy leader?
All people come to talk to me about is how I can help them in their local electorates build more classrooms.
No one's
That's
mentioned-
pretty much what people come and talk to me about,
No one's approached you
Tova.
about leadership.
I don't talk to people about leadership.
Minister-
I talk to people about education
Prime Minister, have
or
you
immigration
considered
occasionally.
resigning?
No.
Prime Minister, are you concerned about mass migration in New Zealand?
No. New Zealand has an outstanding immigration system. It's been very strongly linked to our economic strategy. It's been very strongly linked to our infrastructure development. We have good control of our borders. We don't have problems like I observe in other countries around the world with illegal immigration. And more importantly, I'm really, really proud of our immigrant community that have come to New Zealand, worked incredibly hard, 2 or 3 jobs to get that first deposit for a home or for a business, and they've made New Zealand a much better place. So, yep.
What's been communicated by the US government on this to the New Zealand government?
Nothing.
Okay. Do you agree with the US assessment of the risk to New Zealand?
I've seen that there's been a tweet sent out from the State Department that's generic to all countries, but I'm just saying we make New Zealand's policies. New Zealand's immigration policy is our decision. In our case, I'm very proud of our policy over many years, which actually is linked to our economic agenda and strategy. And actually, more importantly, I'm very, very proud of the immigrants that have come to New Zealand, who made this place home, who've left behind their family, their culture, see a better future for them, their family and their community here, and that should be greatly celebrated.
On the latest Taxpayer Union Curia poll, which is your own internal polling company, 9 of your MPs, 9 National Party MPs would lose their jobs. Do you take any personal responsibility?
Tova,
for
there's
that,
lots
for
of
that
polls.
risk?
Tova, there's lots of polls, as I've said before.
Most
I
of them
don't
are-
comment on polls, but I just say, this is New Zealand people have a choice next year. We were elected, 2 years ago to actually get on with the job and get this country turned around and fixed, so they actually can realise its potential. When we have a situation where Australia is 25% wealthier, Ireland's twice as wealthy, Singapore is now 3 times as wealthy per person as New Zealand, we've got a lot of work ahead of us.
Do you feel, though, that you're doing a good enough job communicating the work that your ministers
Yes.
are doing? You do?
Yes.
You think you don't take any responsibility for
We have a
polls?
great team doing an amazing job. I've got the right ministers on the right assignments with a very clear brief to get on and get the change done, and they're doing an exceptionally good job of
Judith
that.
Collins set a self-imposed kind of sacking point if she ever got to 35 in the polls. That would be dreamy for you right now, wouldn't it? What's your sacking
Well,
point?
Tova, we don't talk about
polls.
polls, and I appreciate your line of questioning where you want to go, but I tell you that's not a concern for us in our caucus.
Do you think that Erica Stanford would be a good Prime Minister?
Well, I think, we've got amazing talent. Erica's doing an outstanding job in education. Her and I talked about it. We're both very passionate about education. We talked about it in opposition. We've read some of the same books over many, many years of what we want to do in education, and it's just been awesome to see her get on with it and get the results and get change happening. And the only people that benefit are our parents and our kids and their futures for New Zealand.
But you don't hold any concerns for those MPs who, on the current polling numbers, if an election was held today, would lose their jobs. You're not worried for them.
No.
You're not
Prime
worried
Minister,
for
the
them.
United Nations is about to review New Zealand's progress on eliminating racial discrimination here. How would you say we're tracking in that area?
Look, I mean, there's always work to do. We should always continue to make sure that we've got a society that's really open and we want to, get rid of racial discrimination wherever it exists. We've just got to be continuously improving in that space. But we've got a great society, we've got a great economy. We're trying to improve on further, and a great country. So that's the work that we've got to focus on.
How would you describe the Māori-Crown relationship ahead of next year's election?
Well, next year's election is over. It's a year or so away, right? So let's not get too caught up about it.
Māori-Crown relationship?
Oh, I mean, I meet with iwi leaders across the country on a regular basis. You know, I personally invest a lot of time in actually the post-treaty settlement follow-up meetings as well. But I have a group of iwi leaders that come in and out of my office quietly, privately. I meet with them and I say there's a lot that we're doing together. Think about the work that we're doing around health outcomes, you know, where we've been partnering with iwi organisations to lift immunisation rates for under 2. Think about the work we've discussed with them around what we're doing on education to lift outcomes for Māori young 5-year-olds starting off in school. The work that we've been doing on a number of fronts around housing, social housing in particular. We've been working incredibly well with iwi, government and business together to get those jobs done. So, you know, we've got a lot to do, but actually I find iwi leaders, mana motahake equals localism and devolution, and kind of a very similar values to what we have, and most importantly, we want outcomes.
All to
be determined. Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Stanford, I noticed the Kapahaka group sung a waiata called Waitangi Te Tiriti. Their kaiko said they chose to sing it while you were here because of part of their kaupapa education has roots in the past and the treaty is intrinsically tied. They said it was a gentle challenge. So what's your reaction to that and the over 1,000 schools that are now voicing their support for ensuring that Te Tiriti is part of education?
Well, my message to schools is what we expect is achievement to improve, especially for our tamariki Māori. And if those schools are doing all of the things that we're asking of them in Section 127, including offering te reo, being culturally responsive and ensuring that tamariki Māori have equal outcomes, and then if they wish to honour the treaty or uphold the treaty over and above that, then they're absolutely welcome to do that, and if that's what they would like to do.
Did you notice the challenge when they sung though before?
Yes, of course. Yes, I mean I've got enough fluency in te reo to know what they were singing, and this is a wonderful school who produce incredible results, and if they would like to uphold the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi over and above what I'm asking of them, then that is their decision, and nobody is stopping them from doing that.
Is it not concerning to you though? Is it not Is it not concerning you though that it's clearly been an unpopular move amongst the sector that you represent, and you're heading into an election year? I mean, what goes through your mind?
I don't think that at all. I think there's a huge amount of pressure on the sector, very, very unfair, quite nasty pressure that's been put on principals who are ringing me saying that they don't like the pressure that's being put on them, and quite often they're signing up when in fact it wasn't something that they particularly wanted to do, but they feel that there's pressure on them from certain people in society. And I think it's frankly disgusting, the behaviour, creating maps around the country and lists that people feel that they have to be on, otherwise they'll be maligned. I think that kind of behaviour is awful. I am here to fight for our kids. That's why I'm here today, to talk to you about those education results. And do you know what's really interesting in these results? Our Māori results. Well, that's why it's relevant, Tova. Because the Māori results in today's trial were the best of almost any child. We are raising Māori achievement in reading, writing and mathematics.
That's good.
That is upholding the treaty, and that's what I expect schools to do.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, team.
Thank you.